Right, now I've got the double ump. I'm about to go on a mad ting rant because the fallout of the Fabio Wardley Frazer Clarke fight is an absolute shambles. Now I know I'm late to the party, it's last week's news, but I think this is much more than just the collapse of a British title fight. I think this is a sign of things to come, a sign that things are just gonna carry on like this. So let me explain why man is proper vexed, you know, so hear me now. Yes, it was a fascinating domestic rivalry that we all got a bit frothy for. Everything was in place, yes, Frazer was on board, Fabio was on board, Ben said it's the fight we want next, and Eddie agreed. Then just like clockwork, the purse bids were called to decide who was hosting. Oh yes, here we go, love it, buzzing for this, and then minutes before, Team Frazer fucked it all up. Terrific. So there we are. Although not on the same scale as Fury Usyk, it's just another great heavyweight fight that couldn't be made for us fans. And just like Fury Usyk, the reason it didn't happen is actually the same. But I'll come back to that. So the consensus is that the buck lies with old Benny Boy. Yes, Sky Sports' newest boxing promoter, who's generally about as enthusiastic as a fucking shoe. Now Frazer himself is not totally innocent here because in some capacity he must have agreed to all this. But Ben was the one with the final decision to pull out of the purse bids. So why? Why, Ben? Why? Well, here's why. This is speculation, but I bet we're all thinking the same thing. Ben purely sees his heavyweight hope Frazer as an asset that's just too risky to put in against Wardley this early in his career. In his eyes, Frazer is a potential pay-per-view star, and currently Sky Sports is only real British heavyweight prospect with the potential to do so. No offence, Steve Robinson. Okay, granted, so it could be considered a little bit early for Frazer, but if that's the case, then don't get the fans' nipples all erect talking about it in the bloody first place. But is it really too early? Well, what about the fact that he's had a stellar amateur career? He's only had 6 fights professionally compared to Wardley's 16, but his experience trumps Wardley's by miles, who's had hardly any amateur career. Frazer was competing in the World Series of Boxing a year before Fabio even turned pro. He fought the likes of Joe Joyce and Joseph Parker all the way back in 2011, and he's got 93 amateur fights listed on BoxRec, and there's probably a ton more that BoxRec don't even know about. So this man is actually incredibly experienced. It really wasn't too early. Now we know you are pinning your hopes on Frazer being a pay-per-view star, Ben, and that's fair enough, but I've got news for you, bruv. If Frazer can't beat an inexperienced amateur and 16-fight novice British champion, who he's got a wealth of experience more than, he's never going to be a pay-per-view star anyway. However, if he does beat him, he's fucking cracked it, ain't he? He propels himself onto every boxing fan's radar and his stock rises massively, well on his way to being pay-per-view. So it was just a banging opportunity for him, life-changing financially and commercially. Now here is why there is a more underlying issue here. I said this collapsed for the same reason that the Fury Usyk fight collapsed. Nothing to do with the money, everything to do with the fact that Frazer, or in this instance Frazer's team, just like Tyson Fury, are scared to lose their O. Yes, their undefeated record. And this problem has taken a colossal shit all over boxing for many years, but mainly since the retirement of this dickhead. Everyone in boxing and all the promoters are now under the impression that protecting that fateful O is the most important thing to do. An undefeated fighter is somehow worth miles more than somebody with a loss, and it's total bollocks. Now with this mentality, what this means for the fans is that we pay our subscriptions to the likes of Sky Sports, DAZN, ESPN, totaling hundreds if not thousands of pounds a year to see great upcoming fighters or even experienced fighters in cherry-picked fights most of the time, just so they can protect that crucial zero. Not all of the time, granted, but a ruddy lot of the time. I mean, we want to see legacy-defining fights, absolute wars, fights that are real tests. I mean, it's not much to ask for, is it? Why can't you give us evenly matched opponents? You know, something like this. Well, fair enough. Alright, not really this, but I mean, fuck me, at least it's 50-50. So boxing is obviously a business, and the money is all that matters, we all know that. But the sad thing is, when a lot of the fighters of today retire, they won't have any respect if their record is considered padded or bland. Us fans will never look back and care about how these fighters were undefeated. We will only care about the people they fought, the great fights they had with other great fighters, and the memories they gave us. So then, Benny boy, when you've got your YouTube channels putting up videos like this, and when you said in an interview the other day this,
we've been trying to make the Fabio Wardley fight way before the purse bids. We want to make that fight.
Well, apparently you were talking complete and utter bollocks. If you were trying to make the fight and it goes to purse bids, how about try and win the fucking purse bids? Or if you can't, then let Frazer make a ton of money on another channel and let him become a British great. But don't get our bumholes fluttering, Shalom bruv, talking about a fight you never intended to go through with. Come on, don't mess with us fans, man, do you know what I mean? I'll tell you what, I guarantee this wouldn't have happened if old Adam Smith was still there. What happened to him? I miss old Beanie, he was a ledge, wasn't he? So anyway, I suppose it is what it is. Ben's saying they intend to do this fight in a couple of fights time, but if Wardley was to beat someone like Adelaide in his next fight, is he going to want to take a step backwards and fight Frazer when he could move up to European and the world scene? I'm not so sure. The ship may have sailed, but hopefully not. Anyway, fuck it. Check out these vids if you like this one, and thanks for watching. Man's got a bounce, calm, yeah? Shout out to the man, them, low it, bosh. No more road, man, sorry about that. Bosh!